Thanks to Grandma, you are finally one step closer to your dream of esports domination. She just gave you her old computer. You know the one. She bought it 7 years ago, on clearance. But that's not important. All that matters is you've got your Valorant invite and you are ready to tear up the battlefield. There's just one small problem. Your new computer is really, really slow. So it's time for a quick and dirty upgrade on the cheap. Brought to you by Glasswire. Instantly see your current and past network activity, detect malware, and block... Excuse me. Oh, that's dusty. And block badly behaving apps on your PC or Android device. Use offer code Linus to get 25% off Glasswire at the link below. Excuse me. It truly is a fantastic time to be a PC gamer. Pretty much all the biggest games in the world right now can be enjoyed on relatively attainable hardware. And okay, your grandma might not be the type to bequeath you a PC. Mine sure isn't. But we specifically chose this machine because it is the kind of thing that, even if it wasn't given to them, a student could obtain for him or herself without spending a lot of money. And we also saw a pretty reasonable upgrade path for it. So we went with the delightfully mediocre Dell Optiplex 9010, a newer version of the classic gray Dell tower of yesterdecade. Now we'll poke around the insides. We've got a Core i7 3770. Now that's not the unlocked K variant, but quite honestly, you're not gonna be doing any overclocking on this Dell special motherboard anyway. Two 4 gig sticks of SK Hynix PC3 1600 megahertz memory, okay. Oh, woof. Is that a GT640 graphics card? Oh, that is nasty. Oh, wow. This might actually use a standard power supply. Moment of truth, here we go. Man, I do not miss hard drives. Look at this. Even the images for the shortcuts on the desktop take like 18 minutes to load in. Let's start with something it should be able to handle. Let's play some League of Legends, huh? Well, I finally got in, and now that I did, dang, it's running just fine. Look at that. 150, 170 FPS. I always forget just how easy it is to run this game. We're getting dips though. I mean, that is sort of a function of this being barely up to spec hardware. I'm seeing some stutters as I'm panning the camera around a little bit. Certainly better than I would expect any other modern game to run on what was a bad video card, 7, 8 years ago. And it's definitely playable. I mean, you're probably gonna get ganked at some point, if I'm getting my terminology right, because of a lag spike, but it is what it is. All right, so this game's running, and aside from some chug, it's running pretty well. This is at 1080p, medium quality. Finishing loading. It needs a separate screen for finishing loading. That's how you know you're using a hard drive. All right, let's go, boys. Wow, this is not as good an experience. Definitely running at a lower frame rate now. Not to the point where I'd say it interferes with my ability to play the game though. Like, this is still a solid, 45 to 55, somewhere in that range FPS. It's usable. One thing I haven't noticed is, oh, never mind, there it goes. Okay, it's chugging, it's struggling. Is that GPU's fan even spinning? Oh yeah, it's working, okay. Oh, there's a hero. Wait, I'm a hero. Are you a hero? Oh, what, there was another hero there, he was hiding. How is the easy AI so smart? Okay, well anyway, that's enough of that game. Wow, it's really chugging. We're getting down as low as 30 plus FPS, but those frame times, you can really see them spiking. So just because you've got 30 FPS doesn't mean that you're actually getting reasonable frame times. And every time your frame times jump, that's when you feel like a lag or a spike or like a stutter. Okay. Hey partner, how we doing here, bud? Oh, we not doing so good. Neat. Yeah, and we're dead. Well, that was quick. What is this, a shotgun? Oh, is that bad? That
Hello?
bad. Hey, Colty, buddy, pal.
What's up, man?
How does Valorant work? Oh, lordy, I died. How many rounds do I have to play? I joined a server so I could benchmark a graphics card. I'm trying to quit, and it's like, hey, you're harming the experience of the other players. You shouldn't do that. How long do I have to play this for?
It could be upwards of 24 rounds.
What?
Yeah, so it's whichever team gets to 13 first.
13?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I'm not playing 13 rounds. Who's got time for this?
Yeah, you could just, I mean, you know, gamers, but you could just leave.
I think one of my teammates is already gone because they're just standing at the spawn. So could I guilt-free leave at that point?
Yeah, you'd probably go for leave, yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, they're probably gone because I'm terrible, so it's still my fault.
They gave up. Well, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
All right, thanks. If anyone asks why I bailed on the match, I'm gonna let them know Colton said it's okay. For fun, we're gonna try something a little more demanding. We've got PUBG running at 1080p, sort of, because the render scale is 70% of 1080p, and we've got everything cranked to very low. There we go. Whoa, okay, that is not a lot of FPS. And this is not a good looking game at all low. I can barely even tell where like the towns are. In fairness to the GT640, this looks terrible, but is running relatively smoothly. Run, Forrest, run. Now there's a dated reference. Ow, 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 ow. Why would you do that? What's wrong with you? Ow, ow. Okay, all right. Well, there you have it. Unsurprisingly, almost all the games we tried were at least functional if we were willing to sacrifice visual quality on our GT640. So if all you want to do is play these games, then go ahead and check out the eBay links below and get out of here. Just go for it. However, if you were hoping to turn the details up to high or get a smoother experience in the games, because what we noticed was that even the ones that were running at high FPS were stuttering and hitching a lot of the time, you're gonna wanna watch on. Step number one is definitely, for the sake of my sanity, to install a bloody SSD in this thing. Let's get it shut down here. Going from a spinning disk to a solid state drive is a monumental improvement. Now, a 1 terabyte SATA SSD from a well-known brand is gonna run you about $100 these days. But if you don't need that much capacity, which you might not, and you're willing to just kind of take a gamble, there are some deals out there. Just make sure that you grab something with a DRAM cache. So for example, the Fatty Dove Racing 120 gig that we checked out recently that did turn out to have a DRAM cache only cost us 20 bucks. Now, in terms of mounts, well, this case is pretty old. It doesn't have 2.5-inch mounts, but the good news is that SSDs don't have any moving parts, and we can just chuck it there. Now for system memory. 8 gigs of RAM might be enough if all you're gonna do is play basic games with pretty much nothing running in the background. But a cheap brand name 16 gig kit like this HyperX Fury set that we had on hand will go a long way towards running more demanding games and improving multitasking. eBay, Craigslist, and Facebook Marketplace are all good places to find fantastic deals on DDR3 from people who are upgrading, whether it's to Ryzen or something from Intel right now. Now, we were lucky. Our cheapo Dell motherboard happens to have 4 memory slots, so if all we wanted was 16 gigs of RAM, we could just slot in 2 more 4 gig sticks and it's off to the races. But we don't have any matching memory, and we want the best chance at compatibility here. So what we're gonna do is what a lot of people would have to do, because they might end up with a motherboard that only has 2 slots on it, is we're gonna take out what we've got and we're gonna replace it with our new RAM. As for the GT640 graphics card in here, it's pretty tired. In fairness to it, it was born tired. As soon as you fire up something much more demanding than League of Legends, you know, it starts to struggle. The good news though is that the Core i7-3770 CPU in here is still a very competent gaming processor even to this day. So we can add a lot of graphics muscle to this machine before our CPU becomes the bottleneck, as long as we stay within reason. Our GPU upgrade ambitions are going to be somewhat limited by the 275 watt power supply that's included with our system. And while we could add a new power supply, especially with this system that does seem to use standard ATX, by the time we add a power supply, we're getting dangerously close to new system kind of money. And besides, opening up that can of worms can cause more problems than it solves. Even some proprietary motherboards that look standard might have different pinouts or specialty connectors, for example, that make them a hassle to deal with. Now, we did go secondhand for our memory, and that is totally an option for graphics. Something like a GTX 960 is a great choice for under $70. But if we want to max out our machine without having to upgrade our power supply, the two GPU options for the most FPS per power consumption are the GTX 1650 Super. So this one right here is 100 watts and starts at about $170. And the GTX 1660 Ti. This is 120 watts and starts around the $250 mark. Now, since both of these graphics cards require external power, and this power supply doesn't have PCI Express power connectors, we're gonna use these SATA to 6-pin adapters. I know the saying, Molex to SATA, lose all your data, etc., 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 but either of these cards is gonna pull 75 watts from the PCI Express slot, leaving less than the 50 watts that the SATA connector can handle to be drawn over the PCI Express cable. So we should be fine. Now I'm gonna install the 1660 Ti because the point of this video is to show you guys, with some choice upgrades, what a machine like this can be capable of. But if you don't have the budget for that right now, you can always get something else for now and then pick up one of these later on down the line once they fall in price. Another point, by the way, guys, if you don't have any extra power available, or you were only able to find one of those half-height desktops, you do still have an option. The GTX 1650 has a low profile variant, this one's from Zotac, that does not require any external power, making it a simple drop-in upgrade. And most of the time, they'll include a low profile bracket so you can install it in one of those slim towers. Now here we are, half an hour later, and depending on what kind of deals you can scrounge, the cost of a game console or even less, and we are ready to boot up our system with that next-gen technology of solid state. Man, I can already tell how much more responsive this thing is just from opening up control panels, like resizing windows. It makes a big difference. Let's kick it off with League of Legends, shall we? See how long this game takes to load on our SSD. Wow, I bet I could even have Chrome open in the background. LTTstore.com. Get your water bottles here, get your hoodies. The classic stealth hoodie, processor t-shirt. Wow, we are right up against our FPS cap here. How about no FPS cap? How about that? What do you think of that? All right. Hey, 370 FPS! And you can see as I'm scrolling around here, we're not getting those judders and stutters. You can see that, it's nice and smooth. Even though I'm recording at only 30 FPS, you can still tell there's a marked difference. Wow, those frame times, 3 milliseconds. 300 FPS in the loading screen. Now that shouldn't be that impressive, but compared to what we saw last time, it is. Well, that really is a lot better. We're ripping around on the map at, what, 250 frames per second. It really is amazing how much game these old 3rd gen Core i5s and i7s have in them, even in modern titles like this. What a difference. Not only is it running way smoother, like you can just tell, but we've actually turned the details up to medium, so the game looks a lot better as well. View distance in particular in this game makes a big difference to your potential success. So the bottom line is, you pair a machine like this up with an inexpensive 120 or 144 hertz display and a decent mouse, and you're gonna be clicking heads all day long in games like Valorant and CSGO, and even getting a pretty darn good experience in heavier titles. Now, the thing is, this setup isn't gonna make you a better gamer. Only you can do that. But as we explored in our Does FPS Make You a Better Gamer series, it will make it easier for you to get better. Now, even if you don't go for the GPU upgrade for Grandma's old rig, I would still recommend the SSD one, just because it will make the experience that much better as you're rising through the ranks in the lighter titles on a really tight budget. So if you guys like this video, maybe hit that subscribe button to see us upcycle an old laptop into a pretty snazzy home theater PC. I don't remember actually greenlighting that project, Nicholas, but apparently we're doing it now. And we're also doing this segue to our sponsor, Blinkist. Thank you for sponsoring today's video. Blinkist is the app that takes the best insights and info from thousands of nonfiction books and condenses them into just 15 minutes. It's basically like speed reading without the annoying learning to speed read part. You can listen to audio summaries or read them for yourself in a wide variety of categories such as business, finance, parenting, psychology, and self-help. Or, hey, if you're a really broken person, maybe all of them. They've even got full audiobooks that their premium subscribers can get 65% off the retail price on, and some of their most popular titles include The AI Economy, which explains how the rise of artificial intelligence will affect society. So take a look at all of that. The first 100 people to go to Blinkist.com/LTT are going to get unlimited access for a week to try it out. So do that by clicking the link below. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're looking for another fun video to watch, maybe check out the last season of Scrapyard Wars, where I basically did this to, well, I'm not going to spoil it for you. We're going to have that linked below.